So it's my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker. Mr. John Perkins is Tilton class of 1963. He is the son of two dedicated faculty members who worked here for many years. Mr. Perkins has spent his life in various roles. He has advised the United Nations, Fortune 500 companies. He's even received the John Lennon Peace Prize for his efforts to make our world a place that our children will want to inherit. And he has, as I said, received the John Lennon Award, received a lot of acclaim for his New York Times bestseller, Confessions of an Economic Hitman, which was rejected by a number of publishers, then picked up and then spent more than a year on the New York Times bestseller list. Mr. Perkins has done many things in terms of his accomplishments, but for me as the head of school, the thing that I am most proud of is that he has chosen to take his time to be here with you and to give back to our school in a way that is very meaningful to our entire community. And I'd like you all to welcome Mr. John Perkins.
Thank you, Peter. I'm going to use this microphone, and thank you also, Rachel, for making this happen, and Izzy and Owen for your remarkable presentations here, and Nika for being the first week of the artist of the week. And I have to say, it's a great honor and pleasure to be here. This school has had a huge impact on me. I first lived here when I was a year old. And as Peter said, my dad was a teacher here for 37 years. And it's had a huge influence on my life. But today I just want to take a few moments to talk about where I think you're going from here, where we're all going from here. You know, I'm very struck by how for most of human history, we people believed that the whole universe revolved around the earth. And that influenced everything. We thought we were divine, because if the whole universe revolves around the earth, and we are the species that controls the earth, really, we must be divine. And then actually, Greek philosophers and scientists and Chinese ones a long time ago began to figure out that wasn't true. But it really didn't become part of the popular knowledge until Copernicus, in 1540, published papers that proved that, in fact, the earth revolves around the sun, and the sun revolves around the universe. And that changed everything. It changed religion, it changed culture, it changed the way we looked at ourselves. It started science, actually, in a whole new way, opened the door for science, because we changed our perception of what it was to be human. And I'm also struck by, I was a Peace Corps volunteer after graduating from college, after graduating from Tilton, deep in the Amazon rainforest. And one of the things that struck me most when I lived with indigenous people deep in the Amazon was their perception of human rights, what it is to be human and to relate to other humans and the earth. And one of the things that they taught me and that they believed was that if any human being, any part of the community is suffering needlessly from lack of food or shelter or clothes or love, the whole community suffers. So they just didn't allow that to happen. And that was a very different concept from what I'd been brought up, the perception I'd been brought up, which was more individualized. Today, when we listen to the news or we read the newspapers, we read a lot about what's going on with the health programs and debate about, well, what does it mean to take care of human beings? We read a lot about racism. There's so much going on in the world, our relationship to other countries. All of it really is about perception. I've come to realize over the years, as a writer, studying philosophy and so forth, that perception is everything. There are really two realities in the world, two basic realities. One is the objective reality, this microphone, objective reality. The other is perceived reality, the words I'm speaking right now. And when you think about it, there are no borders between Canada and Mexico. There's no Canada and Mexico, there's no borders between, Canada and the United States and Mexico and the United States. There's no United States. There's no Canada, there's no Mexico, there's no religion. there's no culture, there's no Tilton school, except as we perceive it. And when enough people accept a perception or codify it into law, like borders, it has a huge impact on objective reality. So it's all about reality, about how we as people, how you mold the perception that will impact the future. And I want to share with you the 10th book that I'm writing right now, the very opening to that book. It's short. I want to share with you how I opened that book. And the title of the book is Touching the Jaguar, which comes from the Amazon. It's the concept of how we have to reach out and touch whatever we fear the most and deal with it. But the opening to the book reads like this. It starts with the title of the big question. When aliens arrive, how will they deal with our planet and us? They'll certainly be impressed by Earth's bounty, its beauty and abundant resources, and dismayed by the destructive actions of people. They'll be shocked by the brutal ways we treat each other and our home. They may well decide that if we continue to kill and destroy, they'll have no choice but to save the planet by eradicating us. What can we do to prepare? This is not a frivolous science fiction question. This book is nonfiction. How to prepare for the aliens is the big question of our time, because they are about to arrive. They are coming from the high-tech labs of Google, Amazon, and lots of new startups. Scientists in these labs tell us that AI, artificial intelligence, robots, aliens, soon will become more intelligent than human beings, probably within the next 20 years. These higher forms of intelligence, which we ourselves are creating, will surely recognize that we humans are behaving irresponsibly, that we must change our ways, or else. What can we do to prepare? And I think that is truly the essential question of our times, not just because we have to prepare for that day, but also because it forces us to examine ourselves and the fact that we created a failed system on this planet. There can be no doubt about it. The glaciers are melting. The oceans are rising. Species are going extinct. We're consuming the resources upon which we depend. We've really created a failed system. Now, our system has created miracles also. Incredible technology. We put people on the moon. Amazing medicine, art, science, music. We've created magic. And yet we now are realizing we've gone too far. I was an economic hitman. My official title was chief economist at a major consulting firm out of Boston. My job was to create, in a way, this failed system. We didn't know it was failed at the time. My job was to help create a system that's based on a perception. And that perception is that the only responsibility of business, which really runs the world today, is to maximize short-term profits regardless of the future, regardless of the social and environmental costs. That's the perception. And it's been driving business ever since. It drove me as a businessman. It has in fact created a system where we are consuming the very resources upon which we depend. We've created what I call a death economy. An economy that's consuming itself into extinction. That's destroying everything upon which it depends. And at the same time, having a huge negative impact on the environment, our home, the earth. But it's all based on this one perception, that the sole responsibility of business is to maximize profits, regardless of the social and environmental costs. So all we have to do to change this, all you have to do, as you come into this world and you're going to take over, you're going to meet the aliens. The AI is going to be here in your lifetime, and they're going to be smarter than we are. How are they going to look at us? How are we going to deal with them? How are we going to form a relationship with them? Because I truly believe that it can be an extremely productive, wonderful experience. Or it may not be that good if they see us continue to destroy the planet. So it's up to us to create a new, successful system, what I call a life economy. A whole system, and when I say economy, I mean political, social, economic, everything system. A system that's based on cleaning up pollution and regenerating destroyed environments and recycling, not digging up the earth, coming up with new technologies. Imagine if we paid businesses to, instead of making things that destroy the earth, like things that kill other people, if we could free ourselves from that and pay these same businesses, Raytheon, General Dynamics, these companies, to come up with systems that mine all the plastic that's floating around in the oceans, or mine all the oil that's leaked in gas stations and oil excavation sites around the world. This is our future. It's an incredibly exciting future. And I think all of you are coming of age in a time that's a true revolution. We are in a revolution where people are waking up. It's a consciousness revolution. Around the world, people are waking up to the fact that we have to move from a system that isn't working to one that's going to really work. I just came from speaking in Russia, and I shared the stage with President Putin and Secretary General of the United Nations, Guterres, and many other world leaders. I spent a lot of time, I traveled to China, I speak in a lot of places, all over the Middle East, Europe, Latin America, the United States, at universities and colleges, and everywhere I go, I look out on faces like yours and see that people are understanding that we are moving into a fascinating era. This is a beautiful time. There's these challenges, and there's a huge consciousness revolution going on, an awakening that you are facing challenges and wonderful opportunities. We have everything we need. You have everything you need to turn a system that's reached its limit. And again, I don't want to be too critical. The system's created amazing things. But like all systems, it's reached the limit. And we must recognize that and move into something that's truly, truly working. And this is a magnificent time. You're blessed. You know, I guess if I have any regrets, it's that I'm not here at Tilton now, instead of when I was here graduating in 1963, which seems this chapel wasn't even here when I graduated. and yet, I love the life I've led, but I think you all are entering, you're going to be graduating from Tilton School and entering the world, the professional world, at an incredible time and amazing opportunities. Technology, knowledge, world knowledge. We know now that we live on a very fragile space station, the Earth, and we've got to drive her toward a beautiful future. I'd like to just close, have you think about that a little bit. How are we going to deal with those aliens? How do you want them to see you? And they're coming, artificial intelligence. How do you want to work with it? Think about that. How will we move forward with that? And I'd like to close with a quote that is over 200 years old, but I think it's very relevant to these times also. And this is a quote that comes out of the American Revolution. So George Washington was hunkered down at Valley Forge, and his men were suffering terribly. The Continental Congress wasn't giving them blankets or ammunition or shoes or anything at all. It was a very desperate time, and he'd lost just about every battle he fought. So he reads to his men, he has read to his men, these words that were written by Tom Paine. And I think they're very relevant to our time now. So Paine wrote, December 1776, this was read to all the forces of the Continental Army. These are the times that try men's souls. The summer soldier and the sunshine patriot will, in this crisis, shrink from the service of their country. But he or she who stands by it now deserves the love and thanks of man and woman. A generous parent should say, if there must be trouble, let it be in my day, that my child may have peace. If there must be trouble, let it be in my day, that my child may have peace. And he continues, I love the man or woman who can smile in trouble, who can give us strength from distress and grow brave by reflection. By perseverance and fortitude, we have the prospect of a glorious future. Here at Tilton, you're developing that perseverance, the fortitude, the knowledge to move forward and to bring us as a species across this planet in every country. As I've been to attending some of your classes, I know there's people here from many countries. We all need to come together and use that perseverance and fortitude to create that glorious future that Tom Paine was recognizing. So I'm very deeply moved and proud to be with you and encourage you, inspire you, however, and to move with you in any way I can into that glorious, glorious future which awaits us.